Thinking about when you said if you need therapy, and I thought about that tweet where someone was like, why go to therapy when you can just go to the club?
Hi guys, welcome back to Basics with B. So today I have a guest, Ntabi saying Mallashi Siminya. So, as you can see with the title of the video, today we'll be discussing mental issues, living with mental illnesses, mental health, things like that, and also how to support a friend who's going through mental
Health issues.
Mental health issues. Obviously, all the things that we're saying, we're not professionals. It's all based on our experiences with other people, our experiences with mental health issues. So don't listen to what type of thing is saying, okay, I want to go do that.
I'm a professional because I've suffered with mental illness for a long time. That makes me a professional.
She's not a professional, guys. But yeah, if you do need any therapists or you need to see someone, I will put a few numbers and people that I know around the country in the description box or in the comments. So yeah, cool, let's get started. Okay, so my first question is
to me.
Yeah,
Okay.
who else?
I don't know if you're asking people.
Why would I? That's not live.
Okay.
Okay. So what mental health issues are you living with, and when were you diagnosed? Or when did you know?
This is my favorite question because there's so much okay. So my first diagnosis, right? My first diagnosis was clinical depression, right? And I was given basic antidepressants, blah, blah, blah. And then this was...
How old were you?
I was 18 years old.
Okay.
I was 18 years old, and then I moved to Cape Town, and I went to AFDA to study film. No, I studied live performance. I studied music and acting.
Yeah.
And then I had to drop out in the second year, and I had to go to hospital, to a mental facility, where I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder, which is different from clinical depression. It's because it's major.
Major
Not
what?
small. Major depressive disorder.
So it's big now.
It's bigger than clinical depression now. It's major. It's in the name.
God.
Big.
Yeah.
And then I left there, and at the time, when I left that hospital, I was on 14 pills a day. 14 pills a day. So I had 7 pills I was taking in the morning, 7 pills I was taking in the night. I was basically a vegetable. I slept all day. I didn't do anything. I didn't like it. So I just thought, and I didn't like my therapists as well. Both of them. I had a psychologist and a psychiatrist. I didn't like them, so I just cut them out completely because they were shady.
Cut off those hoes.
Right? They were shady. They were telling my mom my business. So I was like, you know what? You should get disbarred. Exactly.
Yeah.
You should get... Okay, anyway, I'm not gonna snitch, but you know who you are. And then after that, I went back to school, and I wasn't on any medication or anything. No, I didn't go back to school. I had a baby.
Oh yeah, she had a baby.
I skipped the whole part of my life where I had a baby.
She had a baby, and we're gonna talk about it in the next video.
Okay, in the next video, we're gonna talk about the baby and my big daddy.
Yeah.
So I had a baby, and obviously the situation with my baby daddy passing away got me in a very dark place, and I ended up having to go to hospital again. So that at that time I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder.
Wasn't it bipolar?
No, I'm telling you, girl, I had many diagnoses. I'm telling you what they diagnosed me. The first time I had got admitted, they said I had borderline personality disorder.
Okay.
So they gave me all the medications, and at that time I think I was taking maybe 8 or 10 pills a day. I was on very heavy antidepressants and sleeping pills and anxiety medications. And then my doctor that diagnosed me with BDP left, by borderline personality disorder. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
He left and he went on vacation, and then I got a new doctor while I was in hospital. And he said to me, girl, you don't have any of those things, but it's fine. If you feel literally, he was the best. He's the best thing that ever happened to my life. He's still my therapist till this day. He said to me, when I got there, he said to me, my goal is to get you completely off medication, which is something I'd never heard before, because when
they're always trying to get you on medication.
Yeah, and they told me, like, every single disease that I've ever had, they told me it's an incurable disease. You'll never be able to get cured of it. You're going to have to take pills for the rest of your life. Yeah, so I felt like I had the disease. He felt like I was fine, because he had told me, bruh, from evaluating you, I really think that your issue is not that you have a mental illness. It's the people around you that cause you to be the way that you are. In that case, it is something that is curable by therapy, which is what he was trying to, which he's never said that to me personally, but it's what I think he was trying to do. Because right now, I'm not on any medication. I remember I went back to him and I asked him, dog, why won't you I begged him, dog, I'm like, dog, give me medication, something. And he was like, no, you don't need it.
You needed to depend on it?
I began to depend on it, even though I knew that it wasn't really doing anything for me. And he would be like, no, you don't need it. Like, but I can give it to you if you wanted it, but you don't need it. Yeah. And I said, but I have bipolar. He's like, you don't have bipolar. It's a thing, like, where you tell yourself you constantly have the disease, it controls you. And then you kind of, like, crush on it, and it's not healthy. So I'm glad that he went with that approach, because I'm not on anything now and I'm doing fine.
Are you feeling good now?
You're the best I've ever felt in my... Bona, I'm doing amazing. There's one issue I haven't dealt with, but other than that, I'm great.
We'll talk about it. Okay, and do you think, like, it's very, like, common that when doctors, like, misdiagnose, just like, do you just put people on medication if you're not really sure? So definitely. Those kind of things, yes, we should definitely go see therapists and, psychologists and professionals, but it also is like, I never know when...
Do you know what? Therapy... What people don't understand about medication is that medication is not... It's a hit or miss thing. That's why they keep changing medication, because they don't know what will work for you specifically. Yeah. That's why you have to keep going back there. Yeah. But sometimes, obviously, there are like medications like mood stabilizers and anti-anxiety pills that actually like bring down. But there are some like antidepressants or other things that just alter your mind instead of fixing the problem. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think it's better to just go through therapy without having any medication first, and see first that, you know what, I'm not dealing, unless if you're dealing with like a chronic situation, like, oh my God, I can't get up, like, I want to kill myself right now, then maybe only you can start on getting on medication if it's like you're super hectic. But if not, don't let them tell you that you need medication. Because most of the time, from what I've realized, is that most doctors don't even take, especially if you're a black patient, they don't even take the time to listen to your issues or listen to your problem and try to figure out which one it is, because there's so many kinds of mental health issues. Yeah. Sometimes when you misdiagnose someone with something that you think that they have, and you give them certain medication, and they just become another statistic of this one didn't work out. And
it affects you, the medication that you take.
It affects you. Like, don't go to the first therapist and then just be like, yeah, it's okay. And I know it's very...
your fit.
The one that like makes you feel like they actually care. Like, it's the worst thing that when you feel like no one cares about your problems, and you even paying this motherfucker to care about your problems, and they don't even care about your problems. Like, I'm literally paying you to care and to listen to me, and they don't even care. So I think it's just like, find the one that works for you. If you feel like not going to a therapist, watch some YouTube videos, read about it, get a psychology book, try to figure it out yourself. If you absolutely need therapy, then go for it.
And that's another thing I wanted to ask, that like, therapy is expensive. Like, I mean, the fortunate thing about some universities is that they do have student what's, but even then, it's like, they put you on a waiting list for 3 months.
You see what I'm saying? Or so in this 3 months,
what other things can what are your healthy? We'll talk about your unhealthy coping mechanisms. What are your healthy coping mechanisms? Like, when you're going through these things, what do you do? Whether it's anxiety or depression or
I think definitely one thing that I haven't learned to do that I wish all of us could do, is to meditate, like breathing exercises. Especially if you have anxiety, your breathing exercises are so important. Like, learning to breathe through your anxiety, especially if you're alone. Like, at least if you're with someone, they can like calm you down. But if you by yourself and you're going through it, it's terrifying. So I think like meditating, spirituality, some form of spirituality, whether it's praying, whether it's like laying on the floor, something that connects you to a higher sense of something, even if it's not like God, or just like being connected to something else, whether it's a friend, whether it's a parent, a grandmother, someone you think is watching over
chakras.
You. Open your chakras, anything else. And also like doing as much research as you can, because I feel like the more you have information about what's going on, the more you can find, the sooner you can find a solution to your problem.
Yeah. And what are your unhealthy mechanisms?
Okay, so I have a lot of unhealthy, and it's one of the side effects of all of the things that I was going through. Like, so while I was diagnosed with like bipolar or borderline personality disorder, a lot of the symptoms were like overindulgent, especially when you're like, because bipolar is like, it's not having two personalities or being crazy or like, that's not what bipolar is. Bipolar is basically like you have a long period of being happy, but not happy like, oh, I'm good, I feel great, wow, I want to take a jog. It's like manic happy. It's like you're irrational, like you're feeling reckless, and you do dangerous things. Like you can take drugs, you can have sex with strangers, you can like take yourself into like very dangerous places because you're feeling so, like erratic, basically. A lot of alcohol, and one of my worst and my most, I don't think it was embarrassing, I enjoyed doing it actually. I was a very, very good shoplifter. Most of the makeup that I had in my makeup, dog.
Hold on. If you get arrested after this, I get it in.
No, I was an amazing shoplifter. Like, I still am. I still could shoplift today. Like,
have you watched that show on Netflix?
Which one is that?
Trinklings, something like that.
Trinkets.
Yeah, they like shoplift.
No,
and then like their coping mechanism.
It was a kleptomania. It's you kind of have a little bit of kleptomania when you're.
I'm very shocked.
What?
It was a pickpocket me.
I won't. It was a symptom of the things that I was going through. Like, it was a symptom of things like you just take what you want when you. But I normally just went into shops and took stuff. I never like took from people or stole from people. I went into shops. Like, I remember that this one short store that sells makeup that I had my foundation, primer, everything, full face in my fanny pack. But the key is to go in and buy something.
Don't give us tips on how to steal, man.
No, okay, sorry. I'm joking. Yeah.
Okay. So what else?
Unhealthy. I think just like
self-harm is also a thing.
Oh yeah, self-harm. But like I personally feel like there are other methods of self-harm that are not physical, like drinking excessively, having sex with random strangers, and just like putting yourself in danger. That is a form of slow suicide. Just not caring about yourself. Your well-being. Yeah, your well-being. So that's like a kind of self-harm as well. So I just think like not caring about what happens to you. I still struggle with that today. Like I still struggle with like caring what happens to me. Like sometimes I know for a fact if something happened to anyone, like if I'm with you and a bullet like comes out, I'm gonna jump in front of. I don't care what happens to me, and I'm learning to use that as a protective rather than a You see, it's just a natural instinct that I have. You, but you wanna. Yeah.
Jumping.
I would definitely do that, but it gets extreme.
I think there's also a thing of like when people fantasize about their death.
Yeah.
Or. When they see a car, they just like,
that's what I do.
I remember there was a time when I was definitely not like, I don't think I was suicidal, but it was I was so like over, and you just see a car, you're just like, oh my gosh, let me step back. Yeah. You're just like, if I die, I die.
Literally, that's what I always say all the time. Like, if I die, I die. Like, YOLO, bruh.
Sure.
YOLO.
Okay, so what support do you think, someone who's going through mental health issues needs? What kind of, like, how does one be a friend to you or a friend to someone else
who has
yeah
well,
I mean, obviously it will differ from person to person, but like, for example, what would you have needed in a time where you were not okay?
To be honest, I think it's very unfair for anyone who suffers from mental illnesses to expect anything from their friends that they wouldn't expect from anyone. I say this in the sense of like, like it's you can come across people who have like your incredible empathy and incredible sympathy, and usually people that are suffering from mental illness require a lot of empathy and a lot of sympathy, so much so that the person that gives it to them has to have so much that they're not giving it to anyone else. Like you cannot be in a position to give your complete attention, especially unless if you are someone that's suffering from it. That's why they say misery loves company, because if I'm depressed and you're depressed and I'm just the kind of person that loves throwing myself into people, and then I'm gonna throw myself into you, and then you probably gonna take it for one day, and then tomorrow we just exchange like the things, because someone who's like has their life together, like you for instance, now if you're no, I'm saying like you work, you have your like you busy, you traveling up and you won't have time for a friend that's like constantly depressed in their bedroom. Like it's unrealistic for anyone to expect people to stop their lives and to comfort you. It's unrealistic, and I think people need to stop having those expectations. That's why we say go to therapy, someone that is equipped with that. Yeah. But
what if I do want to be there for you?
No, like, you can, how? But it's very difficult to, from what I've experienced, it's very difficult to express emotion to anyone. Like we can barely communicate to each other as human beings. So like imagine trying to explain feelings, feelings.
That you don't even understand.
That I don't even understand. Now I must explain them to you and try to make you understand. You know, that's what I'm saying. You have to get to someone that knows exactly what you're going through. Otherwise it's going to be very difficult. But it is nice for people to try. At least like just try. Like just try and understand. Just try and listen. Yeah. Like comfort, hug. Like maybe try to take them out, give them like, bring them some food, some wine, some whatever they need in that moment to feel better. Even if it's just for that moment, you can do that. But
I also feel like from my experience with like supporting friends and stuff, like I never really know what to say. I never really know how to be there for them. But also it's very important to not make it about you. Don't be like, no, please talk to me. Don't, you know, you're not entitled to my feelings. You're not entitled to, I can't now in my comfort also try comfort you so that you can be there for me. It doesn't make sense. So I think, right now it's just mostly like a random message of affirmation, just a reminder that I love you. But it's one of those, people are going to go through things, and sometimes they just need to go through the things. Yeah, they just need to know that they can someday vent with you. So as long as you keep that space open, or whenever you want to vent, here I am. Like even if you're just crying over the phone, but in that moment it's not about me. It's not a matter of I deserve to know if you're not okay or whatever it is. Because people are very weird about it. Why don't you
come to me? I'm your friend. Like, you know, you can come to me and tell me anything.
Exactly.
Maybe you need to realize that maybe you're doing something wrong, and that's why people won't come to you and tell you the problem. Because you know what? As someone who's gone through a lot of shit, there's nothing worse than opening up to someone and they just be like, damn, that's crazy. And you're just like,
just be positive. Just pray to God.
What's depressing you? Hey, no, don't be like, girl, you must pray.
Just be strong. You're stronger than this. Stop.
It's the worst. It's so demoralizing. It's like it's very painful to like open up yourself to people and they just shut you down emotionally. So that's why I don't like telling people, talk to you. I don't like telling that to people because I don't know your friends. I don't know your family. Yeah. I might be setting you up for like even worse things. Like, and especially if you talk to the people that are close to you, like your friends and your family, and they don't even get you, that is the worst feeling in the world. Like the people that you've known your whole life can't even comfort you, and now you just feel like, fuck it. And that's when people decide that, you know what, I'm leaving this earth, you know, and that's how I felt sometimes. So rather just like, if you want to go through it, do it by yourself. Because at the end, there's no one that can help you other than you. Like, I know everyone else can support you and be like, you can do it, we believe in you, but only you can help you out of the hole that you're in.
Sure. Okay.
I'm rooting for you, babes. I know you can do it. I know you can do it.
Okay, so how has mental health issues like affected your relationship with people, with your family, with men or people that you're dating? Or just like, how has it affected?
Oh, you in my business. Oh my God.
I want to know everything.
Okay, so when I was younger, my first like encounter with like mental illness is that I had a panic attack. I was still in primary school. I had this major panic attack. Like I was crying, I couldn't breathe. I felt like I was having a heart attack at like I was like 5, 6, 7, whatever, however old I was. Like I felt like I was having a heart attack, and I went to my aunt and I was like, I was so scared. Like, I was terrified. I didn't know what was going on. I went to my aunt because there was only my aunt in the house. I went to her and she was like, yo, like, which means like, you have the spirit, like, spirit, you know, when, not madimoni, like, when the spirit comes over you and you just like, you know, when people in church and they, the spirit comes over. So she was basically saying, the spirit was coming over me, whatever. And as a young child, I'm like, what is this lady talking about? Now, granted, what happened was that I was watching the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards, and Leonardo DiCaprio was talking about how if we don't stop global warming, the world is going to end. And that completely freaked me out. Like, as I was like, oh my God, we're all going to die.
Oh my gosh.
And I just like started crying, and I panicked. So ever since that day, like in that encounter with my aunt, I've always been very careful of how I interact with people. I've always just been the happy person because I don't want to bother people with my problems or make people feel like they have to tiptoe around me. So I just always like, you know what? It's okay. I'm funny. I laugh about my problems, which for me, I think has been a good thing. But you can laugh about your problems, but you need to deal with them first, which I never did. So I just laughed about them. And then I went home and I cried myself to sleep every night. Sometimes I didn't even sleep. I had insomnia. There's times I wouldn't sleep for like 4 days on end.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't tell anyone. Like, I didn't tell anyone about anything for the longest time. Only after being in hospital recently is when I've started to like open up more about mental health issues, talking about it freely. But before that, like, I still feel like today there's a lot of people that don't actually know me. Like, what you know is what you see, and that's you don't know me. So that has affected my friendships and stuff. Like now there are people where I'll give them a little bit, like I'll just be like, yeah, you know, I have depression, and their reaction determines the rest of because then you know this is not a real friend, and then this is the friend that I can talk to you about certain things.
What about drilling?
Drilling is unsuccessful. It's a failure. Because of my current so I am classified. My therapist told me that I am a HSP, which means I'm a highly sensitive person. You know, it's a very deep thing to get into. It's not like a diagnosis. It's like it's not a disorder. It's just like a personality type almost. So like being a highly sensitive person, you are more attracted to narcissistic people. So you are more attracted to people who don't give a shit about you at all, which is the weirdest thing ever. It's like the worst dynamic in the world. So most people that I have, this is what my therapist said. I was dating someone recently, and I said to my therapist, I'm like, you know, Doc, I think my boyfriend is a narcissist. And he laughed. He was like, everyone you've dated is a narcissist, darling. I was like,
oh, I hate him. I hate him.
I love him so much. But yeah, like, I think everyone that I've ever dated in my life has been a narcissist. And I know that they've either been emotionally or physically abusive. And I know that for a fact. And I always just, like, kind of put that in the back of my mind. But now I'm like, you know what? I'm coming to terms with that. I'm not the only one in a relationship with crazy people, with abusive people, emotionally and physically. So it's okay. Like, the fact that I'm aware of it now, it means it can only get better. I mean, it's trial and error thing with dating. No one can get it right. You can be in a relationship with someone for like 20 years and, you know, a whole changer. Yeah.
So, you were talking about how, like, when you were younger, the support with your aunt and stuff. And earlier on, you were talking about atypical. And how that made you sad because there was no support and stuff. And you're seeing all the support on it. Atypical is a show on Netflix. Kind of, what does he have this
he has autism.
Yeah.
He's a highly functioning autistic person.
Autistic person, So what kind of support do you think you would have loved from like a family, especially, you know, black parents and black family members, you know, they don't know how to be there for us. How to be there for people who are going through mental health issues. So like, for people who do care. If there is an adult watching this.
Do you know what, Nan? From what I've realized, specifically for my own family, is that there are Shapo, there are things that they are human beings, so they were raised by other people and they have their own dynamics that they have with their own people. Like I don't expect support from my it's not something that I expect. It's something that I would have loved to have growing up, but I know my family and I know the dynamics. I'd be delusional at my age to be like, oh, I wish my family. It won't happen. But also, it's something that they have gone through, but they won't even admit how they've gone through traumas and like this. They won't even talk to me about it type of thing.
Yeah, they're not open.
They're not open to talking about it. They've lived their whole lives the way that they are, and everyone basically has lived their lives the way that they are. So for me, I had to learn to try and find support outside of my family because I knew I was never going to get it from outside of my family. And watching shows like movies and series like Atypical, and watching people be actually like families that support each other through whatever, like this girl brings her boyfriend into the household and like she breaks up with her boyfriend and their mother's hugging her. Yo, I'm so sorry. Where?